Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. All right, guys, you know I always ask you if you have time to please leave us a comment in the comment section, okay? And if you can give us a thumbs up and you can pass this video on, that will be even more fantastic. All right, guys. So today I want to talk to you about something that's going to help you. If you're Aquarius, or if you love an Aquarius, or have a relationship with an Aquarius, or whatever the case is, this should be very helpful for a lot of you, okay? So I had to figure this out the hard way. So I'm hoping if I tell you guys, some of you might be like, okay. Now, I told you a long time ago that many Aquarius have bad tempers. So this is specifically for us. Usually an Aquarius who has a lot of fire in their chart will have the worst temper, but it's just common for Aquarius to have bad tempers. But like for me, if for instance, in my chart, I have mostly fire and air placements. I have one Taurus and one Scorpio. Everything else is fire or air, everything. And I was born during the year of the dragon. The end, I think it was the end of the year, as a matter of fact, but it was still the year of the dragon. So I always call myself a dragon because air and fire. So I guess I'd be like a fire dragon, I guess, more so than a water dragon. So people like me, Aquarius who have that temper problem, have to learn ways of dealing with it. One of the things we have to do is look out for things that trigger us, because usually when you have a bad temper, there are certain things that you know will set you off. So I try to stay clear of those things. Certain people irritate me. I don't like the way they behave. You know, the judgmental aunt that comes over for Thanksgiving or that kind of thing. You all know what I mean. So certain people irritate me, so I stay out of Dodge. I stay out of their face. I stay away from them, and I give us very little interaction. So, because I know that that's one of my triggers. People irking me is one of my triggers. So I stay away from people who are traditionally irks. Another thing I do, and this is what I wanted to talk about today. Another thing I do is I notice with Aquarius that our temper builds. And how does it build? It builds by us letting things go. Aquarius is a kind of sign who's not petty. Unless we're in our low vibrational dark form, we're not petty. We let a lot of shit slide. If it's not a big deal, we let it slide. You all know some people who are very sensitive. No matter what you say to them, or no matter what happens, they're all in their feelings and they're all upset all the time. No matter if somebody was trying to insult them or not, they're always sensitive and they're always insulted. They're always in some kind of drama. Aquarius is the opposite of that. We try to let things roll. We try to be easygoing, you know. We're not petty. So if you do something, you know, we might just let it slide, you know. But this is a mistake. And this is what I want to tell my Aquarius. Don't let things slide. Even if it's small, address it. You don't have to be a drama queen. You don't have to snap on the person, but you can talk about it, because this is what happens. Those little things with Aquarius add up, right? And one day we snap. And people are like, why you snap about that? You know, like they have done 40,000 things to us, but it's that last straw that sets the Aquarius off. And people are always like, why now? Because the Aquarius has been letting shit slide time and time and time and time again. And then when they finally are fed up, all of those things come back to their mind. And it's like, if this motherfucker do one more thing, I'm going to go off. And that's what happens. So what I've learned is to address things as they occur instead of letting them pile up. If somebody does something to me I don't like, or says something I'm not too keen on, I let them know. I speak, or in some kind of way express it immediately so that they won't keep doing whatever that thing is. I'll give you an example. Sometimes, let's say you have a roommate. Let's say you live with your sister. And you and your sister get along pretty good, but you haven't been living together that long, other than, of course, when you were little. It's your first time as adults living together. Now, as an Aquarius, we're going to let things slide. So let's say your sister eats your food on Monday. She was hungry. She didn't know if you wanted it or not. You were asleep. She ate it. Aquarius let that slide. Then Wednesday, she comes in your room and takes something without asking for it. Aquarius let that slide. Friday, she does something else. Aquarius let that slide. Now, Aquarius will keep letting things slide until they are irked. And that's the wrong time, Aquarius, to finally address what has been happening. Because at that moment, you're going to go off and you're going to hit her with everything she's been doing. It's been 6 months. I'm pissed off. You've been doing blah, 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 blah. And your sister is sitting there like, why didn't you tell me 6 months ago, And that's a very Aquarius thing to do. So instead of letting things pile up, which is when the trouble comes in, as soon as she did the first thing, you should have said something. Like yesterday, I had my food in the refrigerator from Applebee's, and you ate it. Oh, my bad, dog. I didn't. You don't have to give me a lengthy, explanation or apology. Just please, in the future, don't eat my food. I woke up looking for my food and wanting it, and it was gone. So please don't do that again. The first time. Okay, so some of you out there probably are sitting there shaking your head like, okay, because that's what we do. We let things slide. So many of us will do this. And like I said, eventually we go off because we're pissed and it's piled up at that point. Think about pebbles, little teeny pebbles like that big. If you put pebbles on, let's say, a piece of paper, okay, the first pebble, you'll still be able to lift up the paper. You'll be able to slide it from underneath it. The second pebble, the third pebble, the fourth pebble maybe. But once you get 20 or 30 pebbles on there, it's going to be harder and harder to move the paper without ripping it. Almost impossible to lift it. And if you want to slide it from underneath of it, it may rip the paper. But if you had done this with just one pebble on it, it would have been effortless. See what I'm saying? You will allow things to pile up, Aquarius, and then they're on your last nerve. You only got one good nerve left, and this person, this situation, this thing is on your last nerve. I was talking to an Aquarius earlier. Well, they sent me this message last night and I read it earlier, and they were talking about how they can't understand why they're so pissed off at their roommate. And I'm like, because you let that shit slide so long, and your roommate, you didn't create a healthy boundary, you see? So your roommate just kept doing what they were doing because they didn't think it was a big deal because you didn't say anything. You see what I mean? So people start to think, well, the Aquarius don't care. They ain't even say nothing. But the Aquarius does care. The Aquarius is pissed, but the Aquarius just didn't say anything. So as an Aquarius, I'm saying that that's one way to help you with your temper, because every time I speak on something before I snap, it goes better than it would have after I snap. Once I've snapped, I'm not really listening well. I've noticed these things about my anger. Once I've snapped, I'm not really listening well, and my impulse control is through the roof. My blood is boiling and I am just pissed, So the smartest thing for us to do is not to let ourselves get there. And this technique that I'm talking about is one thing that will keep you from getting to that space, because you will address things when it's just one pebble and it's easy to move it, you see, instead of waiting until they've piled up. So you can let me know in the comment section if you are an Aquarius and you've experienced this or you experience it frequently, likewise, if you know an Aquarius or you're living with an Aquarius or you're friends with an Aquarius, have you ever seen this before? Because many of you may have seen an Aquarius snap before. At my old job, they used to always tease me because they've seen me snap. So to this day, they still tease me about it. So I try to catch myself before I come to that space. And this is one of the techniques that I commonly use. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you would like to have a reading done, please email me and I will give you an appointment. Likewise, if you would like to contact me, all of my information will be underneath this video. If you want to become one of my patrons on Patreon, my Patreon information will be under this video. If you want to send me a gift, gifts are my love language. My Amazon wish list will be under this video, and so will PayPal in case you want to send me a love donation. Likewise, I want to thank you for being here, and please come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.